No one talks about divorcing a good guy. I've been divorced twice, both of which were my decision, and neither one of them were abusing me or cheating on me. That doesn't mean there wasn't a pile of other reasons as to why we couldn't maintain a healthy relationship. You deserve to be happy. And I'm proud of you for taking responsibility for your happiness and doing something about it. So stop beating yourself up.
The reason why nobody's talking about divorcing the good guy is because they know how it makes them look, and they oftentimes live to regret it. And the bottom line is that it is extremely disappointing for men to hear stories like this, because it tells them that they could be an amazing man, but this is how they could still end up. The woman that they love and that they said vows to and that she said vows back to him could just decide she's not happy and she leaves him. Ladies, what so many men would love for you to understand is that they don't do that to you. Men do not leave good women simply because they aren't happy. Because most men understand that if they are not happy and yet they have a good woman, it is a him problem. A lot of women, unfortunately, do not think the same way when it comes to their own happiness, because they put it on the man to make them happy. These are women that will be in the cycle of finding a new man and being happy for a short amount of time, but then eventually, over time, they become unhappy because they're unhappy with themselves. So for you men listening, my biggest piece of advice is to make sure that you're with a woman that is naturally happy with herself.
So you married?
I'm going through a divorce.
What happened with that?
Basically, my husband stopped meeting my expectations.
What you mean?
When I met my husband, I told him what I expect from a man. The number one rule with being with me is you have to provide. I won't settle for anything less. So my husband ended up losing his job. He came home and he told me, I'm like, okay, cool. A month went by and he looked for me to pay the bills. Paying what bills? So I was going to consider it if he gave me the money back for paying the bills. And he told me no. What do you mean? When I told you as a man, I expect you to provide. Under no circumstances will I ever touch bills as long as I got a husband. If you can you can hear.
He probably happy you gone, though.
I'm sure he missed me.
A headache?
Like you knew what it was. I told you who I was from the beginning and you still asked me to be your wife. I can't be with no broke man. I can't be with no man that expect me to touch bills. I don't even want to know bills exist.
So your new dude, he paying the bill? So he go broke?
He know not to go broke.
I don't blame her.
She has her standards.
She's already told you this is what I'm
it's about what you decide to accept.
This guy, he's the one that still proceeded to be in a relationship with this person. She's up front. Eventually, she might find someone who's willing to be that person. But to me, that's insanity. I think the one that will piss man off is the ones that pretend like they're holier than thou. And then situation happens and they show their true colors.
1 month she gave him, not even a couple of months.
And then she was willing to borrow him the money.
To pay the bills, she's also
doing.
I rest my case. We're done, I think.
Yeah, that one sent you off, yeah?
Hi guys, it's your girl Joan Complete as always. Welcome back once again to my YouTube channel, and in today's video I am going to be sharing my thoughts on why women leave relationships. I would like you to watch the whole video and don't forget to subscribe, like and comment.
So 80 to 90% of all divorces are women leaving men. Unpack that for us. I looked up the research and it's 70% of women that are initiating divorce. Would you work at a company that only had a 30% retention rate for their employees? 70% of the employees are leaving the company? Would you think, oh man, these employees suck? Or would you think, what the hell's wrong with that employer that they can't keep any employees? So then I put my researcher cap on and I read a lot of articles from psychologists who are doing all this marriage counseling to see what's really going on. And hands down, the women are mad. They feel tricked. They get into this marriage thinking that they're going to have a partner and they're going to have support. And the three biggest reasons that women are walking away from marriage is, number one, their partner isn't emotionally intelligent and doesn't know how to emotionally connect. So there's no actual friendship between the husband and the wife. Number two, the women are carrying all of the mental load and emotional labor for the entire family, and it's exhausting. And number three, they're just not accepting abuse anymore. And abuse is defined as someone who tries to control you, manipulate you, or neglect you. And the statistics show that 50% of women, once they get divorced, don't remarry. They're done. But 70% of men will remarry. Because studies also show that marriage is much more beneficial for men. They live longer and they're able to make more money in their jobs because someone's holding things down at the home fort. And marriage is not beneficial for women and tend to rely on women to do all of the household labor, to do all of the mental load of making doctor's appointments, purchasing the things for the house, doing the cooking, the cleaning, and that the women are carrying the emotional labor as well. Meaning they're always trying to initiate connection and help regulate everybody's emotions better. I'll also add that only 27% of women say that they regret getting a divorce, whereas 39% of men say they regret getting a divorce. So the institution just isn't working for women much anymore. And so much of that has to do with the fact that men are struggling to regulate their emotions, to be emotionally intelligent, and to know how to emotionally connect with a woman, especially around the area of having empathy. So that's my interpretation of the statistics. What's yours?
The man who taught me what love looked like, he just got married not so long ago. But the reason why we didn't work out is because he was broke. Damn.
Well, his wife now is fine with that.
He worshiped the ground I walked on.
But
And he taught me patience. And he really taught me how to damn near love me. Taught me how to cook.
But
He was chasing a dream of being a musician. He wanted to be a singer in a boy group. I supported that, everything. But I'm like, he had 2 kids. And I'm just like, you do need to support yourself. Like, you need to make some type of money. He was getting like a $50, $100 allowance from his manager. I was like, drive for Pizza Hut at night. I don't care. Just
so is
make
he
some
still
money.
trying to chase this musician dream?
He just found the woman for him.
Okay, so it didn't work out financially wise. Everything else, if he had the money, would it have worked out?
Yes.
Okay.
It would have. And if I would have met him today, it would work out.
What's the difference?
The difference is I was broke too at the time. Like, I was barely making it by myself. And so I was like, I feel like I don't want a man in my house. And we both, like, they don't turn me on.
Okay, so now since you're good for yourself, financially, you're saying now it would have worked. So you're saying you wouldn't mind supporting him.
Now I could appreciate the love that he brings, but I still don't want him to be broke.
But it's everything with him is still going to be the same. You have money now, but everything with him is still going to be the same.
You know what? Then maybe I lied.
I know you lied. I was ready to pull it out of you.
And also women leave their relationships because their men are broke. Some women just leave their men when they're broke. Like you've heard in that video, like the woman was saying, like the man was good, caring and everything, but he was broke. That's why she left the man. There's some women who try to lie about it. They give excuses, different excuses why they left their men, but yet the core reason is because the man was broke. They just give other excuses because sometimes in society, when you say like you left a man because they're broke, society will always judge you. Especially men will also feel like you are someone who is really bad if you leave them like that. So women try to pretend, and they give excuses. Oh, you hurt me like this, or you did this. They start complaining about different things, yet they're not telling you the truth that they're leaving their men because they're broke. But at least this woman was really honest. She said, like, I left my man because he was broke. Most women do that just because they are not honest to tell their men, like, I'm leaving you because you're broke. They start complaining about things and things all the time because they want to reach that point where they're going to tell their man, I'm leaving you because of this issue, but they don't tell the man that I'm leaving you because you're broke.
Ex was a great guy. Like, even after we broke up, still sending me flowers to my apartment, you know.
I want you to listen to me for 1 second before you freak out. I agree with everything she said. Just because somebody is good to you does not mean that you have to stay with them. Like, we're so used to toxicity that when we find something good, we think we have to hold on to it forever because we'll never find it again. And that's not what it should be. Somebody being good to you and treating you right should be a bare minimum. It should not be the exception. It shouldn't be. I don't know her whole situation, so I can't really speak on her for real. But I do have a problem with this video at the same time. Not necessarily her, but what people tend to do. See, the goal of dating is knowing when to get in, find your person, and settle your ass down, or knowing when to get in and get out when that person isn't for you. But you see these people in these long-winded relationships, and they know that they don't want to stay with them. They'll be in 3, 4, 5+ year relationships and know in year 2 that they didn't want to be with them. Like, picture dating somebody, but in their mind, they got you on the shelf until they find somebody else. Like, picture being married to somebody, but secretly they want to divorce you, but they just haven't told you yet. That's one of my biggest fears of being in a relationship that's supposed to be intentional. Is that what if you are so amazing to this person and you love them, but they are finding their exit plan and they're not letting you know until they want to? And I know people gonna say, oh, you got to be compatible. Bruh, it don't take that long to find out if somebody's compatible for you or not. In my last relationship of 3 years, I knew in year 1 that I wanted to marry her. We didn't get married. She didn't want marriage. And overall, we're not together anymore. But in my whole heart, if I'm dating somebody, it ain't gonna take me years to figure out if you're not for me. For the people that do that, the worst type of people. Like I look at her video and see that my man sends her flowers. Me and my ex still cool. I do not send her flowers at all. Because as soon as I realized that my ex did not want me, there's no reason for me to do stuff that I used to do for you. So maybe she is happy that the relationship is over because he's not her husband. Sometimes I wonder if he's
the man that I loved for the man that I deserve. I was in a relationship for 10 years and decided to leave that relationship because he was no longer the man of my dreams. He was a good boyfriend and he never cheated on me, and we were good to each other, but when it came to alignment and what I deserved and what I wanted and saw for myself and my future kids, I wanted to give my kids the best possible father I could, as well as like the best possible life I could give them, and love is not enough for that. So I left. It took me years of contemplation, but now I am in pursuit of finding the man of my dreams again, and somebody who will give my children and me the best possible life. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you want, it's about what you deserve and what you plan on giving yourself. Because you're young, you're hot, you might as well live your best possible life, especially the one life that you have, the one body that you have, the one like time period that you have. Like, don't waste it away on settling.
I'm not even against her on this one. I don't even see this as a problem. And I know that most people that would watch my content would say, Anton, you are about to go in on her. I'm not. I'm not going to go in on her at all. I don't see a problem with her leaving a person at, what did she say, 10 years? However long that she was in a relationship for the years. I don't see a problem with her leaving whatsoever. And the reason why that is because I believe that she did him a favor. He dodged a bullet. Now, before I deep dive into her whole philosophy, let me help you to understand something. My number one rule when it comes to relationships is you never stop somebody from leaving, because if they left, or if they're communicating that they want to leave, or if they're playing around with the idea of it, let them go, because they've already left in their mind mentally. They are already out the door. As for him, she probably did him a favor because her mentality and her mindset didn't come from the relationship. It came from outside of the relationship, whether that be people that are in her ear, people that are around her, people that are on social media that's influencing her, telling her that she's a baddie. We all just regular individuals. We all just regular people. Let's be clear. None of these people are baddies. None of these people are above a certain level. We all regular, everyday individuals. But that aside, I will tell you that she just want a man with resources, and she's being influenced into pushing herself into that direction. Nothing more.
Also, there's some women who leave their relationship because they've grown into another person. So what do I mean? Sometimes women get into a relationship when they really appreciate what the man offers in a relationship. Like they want the love, the care, and they want the protection and the simple provision. But then when they're in a relationship, maybe sometimes they get new friends, sometimes they get new influencers on social media, and then they realize that they are now changing what they really want in a relationship because of that influence. A woman who was initially appreciating the husband or the boyfriend because they were loving, caring, and simple providers, they start resenting them because they now want someone who is more than that. What do they mean? Like someone who is wealthier, who can provide a better lifestyle that they really need. or sometimes they even feel like they're way much more better than their men, because they feel like they don't deserve them, because maybe now the society has tried to show them, like, you know, your man is not that cool, you are cooler than your man. So they end up planning to exit the relationship. And then you realize that sometimes, as the man has said in this video, is that when someone decides to leave you, you don't have to ask them to stay, because by the time someone says they are leaving you, it's like they've already checked out even before they tell you they are leaving. And that's what I always tell people, like, when someone tells you they are leaving you in a relationship, you don't have to ask why, you don't have to plead, you don't have to try to convince them to stay.
Why women leave a relationship? So women are very different to men in terms of what they get from a relationship and what they're seeking from a relationship. And they'll generally leave because their hope is gone. See, women's communication is very indirect. So men tend to be very direct in their communication. This is what I want, this is how it is. Women are very indirect. She'll drop little crumbs or hints to him about what she needs in the relationship. And if he doesn't get those hints, then she'll feel like he doesn't understand her. And if she's not felt understanding, then she will feel that she's not loved. He doesn't get her, so how can he possibly love her? And as that builds up in the relationship, a tension and a stress builds up in her that he's not getting her. And over a period of time, despite dropping all these little clues along the way, he's not changing. So she repeats herself over and over again until she gets to the point where she's very clear that he's not going to change. And once she's clear on that, and she gets to a point where there's no hope left, she'll be done. And once she's done, there's no coming back from that. Even if at that point she tells him she's going to leave or wants to leave, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll change. I'll go to get some counseling. I'll do whatever it takes. By this stage, she's like, too late. You didn't get me. I dropped all these hints. So this misunderstanding between direct communication and indirect communication creates a problem in the relationship, because men and women have different expectations. And if they're not met,
So I just watched a video where a woman says that she left the man that she loved for the man that she deserves. And I just want to say, I find it very interesting that all these women are out here leaving what they describe as a good man, a loyal man, a faithful man, a man who has been good to them, who loves them, because they say he doesn't make enough. It all comes down to money. We know that, because when you start talking about what it is that you deserve, you're not talking about a better man. You're talking about a man who has more money, a man who can provide the quote unquote lifestyle that you feel you and your future, not even existing, future children deserve. I find it very interesting, and I'm highlighting and focusing on some words here because I want you guys to understand that when you spend time with someone, when you spend years with someone who believes that they are pouring into you and that they are being poured into, who believes that they are growing with someone. This woman said she was with this person for 10 years and decided to leave him. I find it so interesting, and I want you to understand that when you find that man you believe you deserve, and he turns around and he does the same thing to you, it will be what you deserve. When he leaves you high and dry, because it was never about love, and instead it was about the tangible things, and when you no longer look how you look, and when you no longer behave how you did pre-children, and he leaves you because there was no feeling or emotion, no commitment to you, there was just a transaction, that will be what you deserve.
It's true that there are some women who leave their relationships because they are looking for a man who is making more money in order for them to afford the lifestyle they want for themselves and for their children. So even if they're having a man who is loving and caring and is a protector, if this man does not have enough money, the money they wish a man should be having, they will be able to leave this man. They will not appreciate all that. All they want is a man who has more money. And realize that even if a man loves and cares for them in a very, 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 very good way, they will not see that, because their goal is having a man who has a lot of money, and they will always leave.
And will let you go when they love you. And this is something that guys don't really understand. If she loves you and cares about you and genuinely has an interest in your character, but she doesn't see compatibility down the road, and she doesn't see it providing the life that she needs to fulfill herself and to give her security, then she is going to have to make the decision deep down in her heart that this is not good for me. And this is what confuses a lot of guys. A lot of guys will be taken aback by this. Like, why would you leave me? You say you love me, and she does love you. She does care about you. But it's not going to fulfill her in her life. And she doesn't have all the time in the world. She needs to make a decision that makes sense for her in the moment, because women have a different layer of pressure. It's much harder to find your partner in this world as a woman, especially when you're young, because you have so much attention in your youth and your pressure to settle down with someone, and you have so many options to select from that it can become very difficult. And then all of a sudden, you're at a position where these options are rapidly declining. So women don't have time to waste. Women have to really be purposeful and intentional about the people that they date. So if she's walking away from you, even though you have this magical chemistry, you need to understand it's because you're not providing her the security, you're not providing her the longevity, and the actual foundation of what the relationship needs to make her feel like she's your woman.
I walked away from a 12-year relationship with 2 kids. We had been together since I was 16 years old. You know, I had 2 children as a teenager. And I can honestly say that as young adults raising 2 children, we did pretty okay. But about 6 years into the relationship, I began to feel stuck. While he was sticking to and accomplishing all of the goals that he had set for himself, I was feeling like my life was just becoming like a revolving door of mother and wife duties. And then the goals that I had for myself would come last. I would come up with all these plans on how we could, you know, relocate to California as a family. And he would entertain it, but he never spoke life into it. And when it all hit the fan, I walked away from everything. And you know what was the hardest? The judgment and criticism that I received, especially from people I thought would be in my corner. After leaving that relationship, an overflow of blessings and opportunities started to come my way. It has been an extremely long journey of healing. I didn't know who I was outside of being a mom and a wife. I am that too, but I'm also more than just that. Now I am getting to know LaBrittany.
I love when guys are like, she left me out of nowhere. No. When a girl leaves, it's usually after a long process of enduring through the wrongs. Until she's had enough.
You want to know why girls push away good men? It's because they're traumatized and have never been treated right. So when a man comes along who's consistent, kind, and genuinely caring, it feels completely foreign and suspicious to them. Their past experiences have skewed their perception on what's normal. So kindness becomes a signal for caution rather than comfort. And they've been conditioned to expect the worst, so when the best shows up, it doesn't fit their narrative. For analogy's sake, imagine you've only ever known a harsh, freezing winter. Then suddenly you're hit with a warm, sunny day. Instead of enjoying it, you might start wondering when the next snowstorm will hit, because that's all you've ever known. And that's how these girls feel about a good man. But get this, when they come across someone who's not good for them, someone who's maybe neglectful or even abusive, it's like they've returned to a familiar territory. They know how to navigate these treacherous waters, and it's messed up, but it is their normal. So they end up clinging to these toxic relationships because they mistakenly believe that it's where they belong and where they're meant to be. So when someone genuinely nice comes into their life, they're baffled and they go, "Why are you so nice to me? What do you want?" And they'll be suspicious of every good deed. They even might push you away, start unnecessary arguments, or test your limits in 1,000 different ways, all because they're trying to reconcile this new behavior with their old expectations. It's familiar ground, and there's a twisted comfort in the familiar, even if it's harmful, because misery loves company. And so they might throw themselves into these toxic relationships trying to make it work, because they think this is what love is supposed to be like. It's a sad cycle, really, but understanding this could be the first step towards breaking it. Showing consistent, patient kindness can eventually chip away at those walls, but it is tough and it requires a lot of patience and understanding. By the way, this also applies to men pushing away good women. It's all the same.
Did y'all see that video where the guy's asking his wife, is there a possibility that she would let him go to Colombia, Costa Rica, or Dominican Republic with his friends? And she's like, just go. I could care less. Like, just go. Haven't you noticed I don't care about what you do anymore? My good sir, you are single. She has left you up here. The minute a woman stops caring about how you breathe, how you walk, how you talk, your actions, the actions that she's probably been nagging at you to change for the longest, when she just don't have nothing to say no more, she is gone. The only reason she's still there is she's working it out logistically at this point on how she can walk away from you, especially if y'all got kids. It's a wrap. When she stops doing this and doing this, you better go get the good pen because you about to sign them papers. That's all I know.
Few common misconceptions about why women choose to leave their marriages, which are not true. So here are a few. They act impulsively without considering their options. They are solely driven by the desire for more money because they are overly emotional and blow up over trivial things, and none of these are true. In reality, most women make the hard decision to leave their marriage after years of dissatisfaction and neglect. They struggle with issues like long-term breakdowns in communication, lack of emotional support, unresolved conflicts, and feelings of being undervalued in the relationship. And they usually attempt to address these issues first for a long period of time before they decide to leave. But finally, they get to a point to where they feel like they must put their own well-being ahead of the marriage, where their husband shows no interest in making their needs a priority.
Dating this guy, and if he was to tell anybody the story as to why we stopped talking, people would think like, girl, you crazy. But listen, I'm a girl's girl, and I just see little things as big things because I know what they can turn into. Like, I just see the red flags before they even flourish into bright red. When it's pink, I see it. So we're getting to know each other. So we're on the phone talking and whatnot. And it's been like, I don't even think it was a month. I think it was like the second week we're on the phone talking consistently. So, okay, the vibes are good. It's there. But one day he goes to the gym and like he's talking about the people that's there. Like, it was a girl he was talking about. He was like, oh, I can't stand girls who wear regular clothes to the gym. Something like that. Like, he was really hating on the girl. Like, he would not stop. So I was like, I didn't know what he expected me to say, but I was like, well, maybe that's what she can afford. Maybe she just started going to the gym. Because sometimes it takes people courage to even get in the gym. Right? Especially if they're a beginner, they don't have the right clothing. It's not until you really start going to the gym, you start to invest in gym wear. And maybe that's not even in her budget. You just never know someone's circumstances. And for a man to be judging a woman like that, I just saw that as a red flag. And I was just like it turned into a little back and forth. Like, I don't want to say argument, but it was like that. Like, me and him going back and forth, me taking up for this lady I don't know, haven't even seen. But the fact that he's talking about this woman, like, what? So that was the last conversation I ever had with him. Was I wrong? Would y'all, I know I'm not wrong, but I would love to hear y'all opinion because I know a lot of pick-me's on here, and y'all don't, as long as the man ain't talking about y'all and the man is loving on y'all don't care about nothing else. But trust me, that's a red flag.
So you want to know the real reason why I walked away from my marriage? Okay, let's talk about it. It wasn't just one thing. It was the buildup, the constant cheating, the emotional immaturity, a grown man who wanted all the benefits of a wife, but none of the responsibilities of a husband. I was doing it all. I was working, I was holding down the house, and I was showing up for everybody. Meanwhile, he was out here acting like a single man, emotionally unavailable, no support, no growth, just chaos and video games. Marriage just ain't love, it's effort, it's accountability. And I woke up one day and I said, I can't keep pouring into somebody who don't even have the decency to care if I was okay. I left because I got tired of being everything to somebody who couldn't even be something to me. Baby, that ain't marriage. That's a trap. I had to stop normalizing struggle love. And once I woke up, I peeled out and I never looked back.
If your woman goes quiet in an argument, you lost her. I feel like a lot of times in an argument when a woman speaks up is communicating her feelings, how she felt misunderstood, you men take it as an attack towards you. When a woman is constantly bringing up the same problem to you, it's because you haven't fixed it.
her continuously bringing it up is giving you an opportunity to change the problem, to fix the problem. When a woman goes dead silent in a conversation, and I'm talking about no facial expressions, just blank, not only is it because she realizes that you're manipulating the situation, but she realizes you don't care. And at this point, we don't care anymore because it's not worth our time. It's not worth, hey babe, this really made me uncomfortable. I was hoping you could do something to fix it. In our mind, we already know this man's not going to change. Why is it worth me stating my opinion multiple times when it's overlooked? I get spoken over. We know that you're stuck in your own ways, and what we just stated, you feel like your opinion overtops it, that what we said doesn't matter. And at that point, it's just like there's nothing more we can do. So men, if your woman is constantly bringing up something that's bothering you or fighting in an argument to keep the relationship working, just
leave the first time. Yeah. The first time they disrespect you, the first time you feel unsafe, the first time you feel unwanted, the first time they raise their voice, the first time they call you out of your name, the first time they put their hands on you, the first time you find out they're lying, the first time you're gaslit, the first time you're cheated on, the first time you're feeling used, the first time they ask you to separate from your friends or family, leave. See, y'all like to auntie me to death until auntie has the real for you. Then you act like I don't know what I'm talking about. Leave the first time. They're going to make you feel like you never wanted the relationship. You didn't love them. Leave the first time. Okay? You're going to make it without them. And you're going to be okay. Leave the first time. Boundaries are not for them. They're for you. Set them, stick to them, and leave the first time.
People be talking about it's hard for them to leave. Look, when people be talking about it's hard for them to leave in relationships, I can't relate because, baby, it's hard for me to stay. I am a serial leaver. That is what I do. I am going to leave. You know that post that say, enjoy me while you can because one day you're going to be blocked? That is literally my life. Any little thing I don't like, I'm gone. And I know it's probably a trauma response and all that other bullshit, but I don't care. It's literally impossible for me to stay. I don't even think I know how to stay with somebody because I be ready to go. I always have my escape plan, and I know that's bad, but I just can't let nobody play with me. I can't let nobody play in my face. I don't know how y'all do it. I'm going to leave. I'm a serial leaver.
Saw a girl on here say, I respected myself so much, and I love this. I respected myself so much, I left the man I was in love with. And y'all, that hit deep. Because loving somebody shouldn't mean losing yourself. But sometimes you do lose yourself. You end up ignoring the red flags, making excuses, and hoping that things change. You stay way longer than you should have just because your heart is still in it. But your heart ain't the only thing that matters. You know, your peace matters. You get it? Your self-worth matters. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away from somebody you still love just to get back to yourself. It don't mean the love wasn't real, at least not on your end. It just means you finally realized if love costs you your peace, that bill is too high. So shout out to every woman who chose respect over attention, peace over pretty promises, and herself over someone who didn't know how to love her right. That kind of strength, that's the real flex.
When a woman moves on for peace of mind, when a woman moves on for balance and stability, it is over. She's not moving on for another man. She's not moving on to hurt you or make you jealous. But she is moving on to genuinely better herself. especially if she feel like she gave her all until her soul got tired. She stayed until the weight of staying started to break her spirit. And now it's not that she's bitter or that she's angry. She is just done. Because a woman that finally chooses herself is a woman that you will never get back the same again. And not because she hates you, but because she finally learned to love herself more than the idea of being with you.
There is no man that's going to make me feel bad for leaving him to go to someone else that's going to treat me better. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care, but I'm going to get what I want. If your mama did it, so am I.
Man, listen. No woman is going to leave you because you made a mistake. No woman is going to leave you because you messed up. Normally, women try to work things out with you. But you know the problem? You keep making the same mistake over and over and over again. You keep hurting her. You keep lying, cheating on her. You stopped being better for her. No woman is going to take that. She didn't leave because she wanted to. She left because she had to. I'll see you again.
I already know where I'm coming from, but for the men out there, it takes women many, many, many times to be hurt, usually. Many times to feel like their needs aren't being met. Many times for them to feel invisible. Many times for them to not feel heard. Many of times of them to feel betrayed and hurt before they leave you. So even if you're like, oh, well, I just did this one thing. I just did these two things and she left. No, really think about that for a second. Take a back seat to the situation and think about how many times she had to tell you she was feeling sad. She was feeling mad. She was feeling frustrated. She was feeling sad. She was feeling hurt. Like all these feelings. Think about all those times over the last 3 months, over the last 6 months, over the last year that you have upset her. Those times added up brought her to her final straw, which is why she left. It doesn't happen overnight. With women especially, it does not happen overnight. It is a series of issues. It is a series of her trying to communicate to you what you're doing wrong, how you're hurting her, before she actually gets to the door. So before you sit and you're like, well, she left over some dumb reason, blah, 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 I would have never left over something like that. Really sit and reflect. Think about all of the times before that you hurt her.
Women just don't wake up and make a decision of leaving their relationship from nowhere. Some men always think women randomly make this decision because there are always no clear signs for them to know that a woman is tired and will leave soon. Because women are good at hiding their feelings about how they feel about unresolved relationship issues, because in most cases when they try to address these issues to their partners and the partners are not willing to listen and the partners are not willing to resolve them, women tend to just shut down and they keep going on with the relationship, but knowing in the back of their mind that this relationship is not going to work out for them, and they start thinking through their options while they're in a relationship. And that's when you realize that a woman stops addressing these issues, but they keep on acting like everything is okay in a relationship. And sometimes men will think like they've managed to handle their women because they're thinking, now my woman is no longer complaining, my woman is now feeling okay. But sometimes women just give up on addressing the issues because they already know there is nothing that is going to happen. So you realize when time comes, when they are ready to go, because the thing you have to understand, women will mentally leave the relationship before they physically leave it. So by the time they are leaving, it takes a little thing for them to say they want to go. Maybe a simple argument comes up and then they're like, we are leaving. This is why you find some men saying that women are hard to please, women are hard to keep. Just a slight argument can make them to leave a relationship. And then you find men always saying that we are tired of putting in a lot of efforts in relationships, because even if we put in efforts, women will always leave because of simple arguments. But they tend to forget that it's not about that simple argument. It is the accumulated relationship issues that men fail to address with their women, because sometimes they think like these are simple issues, these issues are okay with them, but yet they forget to listen to the woman inside. Because if you listen to the woman inside and you're willing to resolve these issues, or you're willing to listen, then the woman will be thinking that, okay, my partner still wants this relationship to go on. When a woman realizes that the man is not listening to them, the man is not willing to sit down and figure out with her how they can resolve relationship issues, the woman will be thinking that the man does not value the relationship, and then a woman will feel like she is neglected, and that is why the simple arguments in the end lead to breakups all the time. These are some of the common unresolved relationship issues that men tend to neglect in a relationship, because most men find these issues minor, yet when it comes to women, they are really important. So realize that we have emotional neglect. This really happens when a woman feels invisible in her relationship. This does not always mean arguments or fights. Sometimes the problem is silence, a lack of care, a lack of attention. When a partner consistently dismisses her feelings, fails to show appreciation, or does not check in emotionally, it creates a deep emptiness. And over time, a woman feels unimportant. She may ask herself, does he even notice me? Does he even care how I feel? Because many women leave not because of dramatic events, but because of the small daily absence of love. You get to realize that most men tend to focus on work, hobbies, and their friends, while ignoring the emotional bond at home with their women. And that's when you get to realize that even if the bills are paid, the chores are done, emotional connection is still missing. Because you realize that love is not just about being in the same room, it's about the present, it's about the effort someone puts in. When a woman feels emotionally abandoned, she begins to detach, and when detachment grows, living often feels like the only way for her to protect her heart. That's when you realize that some women just wake up in the morning, just a slight argument makes them to just leave the relationship, because they've been facing emotional detachment in the relationship, which is caused by men who are not putting in efforts to be present emotionally in a relationship. Another unresolved relationship issue that men tend to neglect in a relationship that causes women to leave is lack of communication. Relationships always thrive on open and honest dialogue. Without it, misunderstandings pile up, resentment grows, and distance forms. When a woman tries to express her feelings but is constantly dismissed, ignored, or met with defensiveness, she starts to shut down. And over time, she may feel like talking to a man is pointless because nothing changes. And you realize a lack of communication can even be in many forms. Sometimes it's silence when problems arise. Let me give an example. Sometimes in a relationship, problems come up, and when women address them, men will tend to be silent. Instead of trying to talk about these problems, trying to figure out how to solve these problems, men tend to just be quiet, and then women start wondering which side are they on. Do they want to solve the problem, or they're just okay with the problem? So the women get confused, and this really hurts women in most cases. And this, when it happens over and over again, women tend to mentally check out and wait for the time when they can check out physically. Another form of lack of communication in a relationship is dismissive answers or short answers in a relationship. Men tend to do this a lot. Realize that women come up with their issues, they talk to a man like for longer minutes, and then you realize a man is just having short answers to their problems, or a man is just dismissing their problems and issues. This alone does not settle well with women. This makes them think that a man doesn't care about the relationship issues. And with time, we will realize a woman will check out of the relationship after some time. Another one is avoiding meaningful conversations. Sometimes women get so exhausted in a relationship whenever they bring up meaningful conversations that are going to help the relationship to move forward in a better direction, and tend to avoid these conversations. You find someone like can tell the woman like, wait, I'll get back to you next week, I'll get back to you 2 weeks, in 2 weeks time. They keep on postponing the time they're going to be willing to take on the conversation with the woman, and over time they just ignore this conversation and women just stay silent, and this gives them an answer that the man doesn't want to listen to them, and this makes women sometimes to let go of relationships because of that. When this becomes the norm, you get realized that emotional intimacy disappears, and this makes women to feel like they're strangers in the relationship, and often once communication breaks down, so does the trust and connection. And realize that healthy communication is not about winning arguments, it's about working as a team, listening with respect, and willing to understand the other person's perspective. Without it, a woman will eventually choose peace over constant frustration, and that often means leaving. And that is why you find women just leaving. Another unresolved relationship issue that men tend to neglect in a relationship is broken trust. Trust is the foundation of every relationship, and without it, nothing feels secure. Many women leave because their trust has been broken through lies, dishonesty, or betrayal. Infidelity being one of the clearest examples. Cheating does not just hurt because of the act itself, it destroys the sense of safety, loyalty, and exclusivity that keeps a relationship strong. Even small lies about money, about habits, about where someone has been, breaks the trust. And once the trust is broken, rebuilding it takes consistent effort, honesty, and transparency. But many men fail to put in that effort, or they expect forgiveness without putting in the work to change, and eventually the woman realizes she can no longer live in a relationship where she's constantly questioning the truth. And this alone can make women to leave relationships. And that's it for today, guys. If you have anything to add on this topic, share your thoughts in the comment section. And it's been your girl, Joanne Complete, as always. I would like to wish you a wonderful day. Take care of your beautiful lives. Until next time, I love you guys. Bye.